Holy crap, we started perfectly on time. Frickin' PogChamp Galaxy Battle, guys. We are on schedule. We're going to have Complexity take on VGJ.Storm, the biggest mouthful of team name ever to be invented, ever, but still, should be a very, very good match, as Complexity have been looking real hot on the global scene. VGJ.Storm not quite making it up to that same level of scene necessarily, but still, I've been very impressed with their display as of late. Going to be best of 3 to determine who's going to face up against Optic in the grand finals. That's going to be happening tomorrow. So you guys, whenever those other people are going to come in asking when the grand finals is it today? Is it after this? You tell them it's tomorrow. That's your responsibility, not mine. I'm Mike Luris. I'm casting. That's it. Complexity have been on a tear recently. They've been doing really well. Got 3rd or 4th. Placed pretty high in the latest Perfect World Cup. Perfect World Minor Major? I don't know. Either way, that tournament, Perfect World Masters, that's what it was called. Yeah, they did okay. And there's, again, some pretty stiff competition, of course, on that global scene. Quick look at the bans. We have lots of the heavy hitters. Heroes like Omni Knight that VGJ.Storm first pick pretty frequently. Heroes like Puck, Jakiro, there's very safe opening picks that we see pretty much every team, let alone these two, pick up on a very, very frequent basis. But, of course, you can't ban them all. It's going to be a Bane and a Sand King for VGJ.Storm, and, well, a little bit of flexibility here. These two heroes do work pretty well together. If you're going to pair them up, Nightmare into Burrow Strike is a pretty nice setup, assuming your 3rd hero in there is going to have any sort of damage. Of course, you need a lot of damage going up against a Winter Wyvern and a Tiny. Lots of health on this Tiny hero in particular, which, of course, means lots of healing, so that's all well and good. But you also have that flexibility. We've seen Sneaking play the Sand King in that off lane, and I think it kind of seems like more frequently than not the Sand King is going to go just towards that off lane. And though that may be the case, you always have that flexibility, and Complexity always have to consider that option from the VGJ.Storm side. The opening of Complexity is pretty much full Complexity. I feel like they've been playing the most Tiny, even a little bit before it was reworked, but they definitely are very experienced on the hero. So, getting into their comfort zone right off the bat. There is no IO available for this Tiny, but really, nowadays, you don't really need the IO Tiny to really work out well. As long as you're able to get some amount of farm in lane, you're going to be fine. The fact that you can just level up that tree grab and then start blasting down ancients and creep stacks and creep waves, like, it makes farming so easy. You don't really need to kind of you don't need to pick a pair of heroes like Tiny used to be before. You really can just do okay picking up this one hero in isolation, but that's not even the case necessarily, since they have picked up Winter Wyvern, who is not like the best combo with Tiny or anything like that. Doesn't offer him anything offensively really except for a slow, which is pretty good, but it gives him that save. It gives him that heal. Looking at VGJ.Storm's side, they do have quite a bit of non-physical damage, although Death Prophet is about half physical, maybe 2/3, depending on what stage of the game is. The Embrace is still going to be really nice for saving the hero like Tiny. If he does get into a precarious position, the Winter Wyvern and her heal, the cold Embrace, heals on a basis of max health, and Tiny has a huge health pool, balanced by the fact that he has no armor. So there's the trade-off there, but you get a lot of healing value with just a couple of levels of that Embrace. VGJ.Storm with a 3rd pick Death Prophet is rather early. The hero is picked up pretty much all the frickin' time, so it's not a weird pick or anything like that, but they do have the last pick. Note the little tick thing over here, so VGJ.Storm will be able to grab their mid lane last if they wanted to, and it clearly seems like they don't want to. Roya has played the Death Prophet a lot, it seems, and VGJ.Storm will, have a lot of experience playing with that Death Prophet. From what I've seen, Roya is always able to come into the fight with Exorcism on, and that is an absolutely huge difference between getting into a fight and then turning on Exorcism versus coming into a fight with Exorcism. It doesn't really sound like a lot, but the damage certainly does add up. There's that initial crash-in shock value. Can definitely force the hand of Complexity. Hell, the cast animation might just get canceled by Winter's Curse if you don't have it up beforehand. So VGJ.Storm will slide right into their comfort zone. Complexity, well, they're just going to still be a little bit generic. The Tiny is a little bit of flair, although I do think for Complexity, at least, it's going to be pretty much the standard. Winter Wyvern and the Slardar should be the supports for complexity, and these two do work quite well together. If you're going to need quite a bit of damage if you're looking to take down a support Bane, if it's a support Sand King, is also more so on the bulky side. So, with the fact that the Enchantress, Z-Freaks, I want to say bread and butter, something he's really good at, banned out. You got to go into the slightly less than ideal, but yeah, still, this combo is quite nice. You get the minus armor with the tiny, and you can definitely beat some heroes down with that branch. It's not a branch, it's a full tree. It's literally a full tree. Guys, I am told that Ahsoka is in fact Yawar. So, now no one has to ask that question again. But for VGJ.Storm, what do they want now? Still looking for either another support or an offlaner. It does seem like they usually leave Ahsoka's hero a little bit towards later. Saw him play, I think it was a Luna and an Ursa. I could be wrong about that. Ursa seems not terrible here, but for sure has some issues up against Winter Wyvern. Maybe trying to avoid that full-on physical right-click hero, if at all possible, or at least get him like a Weaver, so someone who's a little bit more able to dodge that. Weaver's not great here, though. They'll pick up a Luna, looking mostly for their lane power. Now, this is both a very strong hero, but a very risky hero for the VGJ.Storm side. Luna, as far as being able to push is concerned, works really well with Death Prophet. If you decide to ball up, at any given time, really, you can tear down towers like nobody's business. But the downside is that she's paper thin. And looking at Complexity's draft, especially now that they pick up a sniper, they can just obliterate Luna from a range. They can just jump in with a Blink Dagger on Slardar and just blow her up with a tiny. It is going to be a difficult game to play as Luna because there are just so many options for Complexity as far as getting on top of a Luna and straight killing her off. So, yeah, you're going to have to rely on that Death Ball, and that's really where the lack of save is potentially going to hurt the VGJ.Storm side. And obviously the same can't be said going the other way around. Winter Wyvern is here for Complexity. Sniper the Pick is going to be the response to that Death Prophet looking in towards that mid lane. It's a solid matchup for sure. Sniper with his projectile is going to try to keep himself very defensively positioned. Bane rotations, Sand King rotations, these are definitely threats for sure. But for Complexity, I would expect them to have a hero, at least part-time, kind of hanging around that mid lane and trying to give that sniper just a little bit of backup. If he does end up needing it, a Winter Wyvern can very easily save a sniper's life. Not a big deal at all. Beastmaster banned out, still looking for that, well, it looks like both offlane heroes. Let's see, Moo, what can Moo pick up that's still in the pool? Beastmaster, Batrider, Clockwork is still in, Broodmother is okay, or an ET. Let's be honest, guys. Does anyone here just looking at this draft and be like, yep, this is an Elder Titan game? That's it right there. Definitely one of those flavor picks that is, there is very rarely a time where it's like, bam, this is where we go Elder Titan, it's going to be an ace pick, because that's the easy pick to make. He is kind of by his nature a finicky hero, in that you do a lot of damage, but you're also kind of a supporty hero even if you're played in the offlane. This is going to be a hero that can abuse the fact that Luna is in fact so soft. Clockwork is going to be the kind of the polar opposite to this. Kind of bland, yet still very consistent, very effective at what he does. Getting them some additional initiation versus the sniper is going to be an absolute godsend. But it will be, in fact, Moo playing that ET, so it's going to be an offline Elder Titan. No staple gun, though, so I'm not sure how he's going to win if he doesn't have the staple gun. Feels pretty bad, man. Either way, it is a very, very powerful hero in lane, and when you're looking to build in towards the later stage, the Elder Titan's aura also is something you have to consider. Now, Luna is not really a hero that builds up armor. She builds up agility, and that gives her armor. And of course, all that armor is going to go away when the Elder Titan's aura is nearby. Of course, even further decreased by the Slardar, a non-zero chance that there's going to be a Desolator on Limp. So this Luna is going to be just torn through. There are a couple heroes here that get armor. Sneakings, Clockwork can get a Blade Mail, and that armor will be kind of unreducible, if that makes any sense. But still, I mean, this physical damage draft of Complexity is something that VGJ.Storm can itemize against, I suppose. But it's also something that they don't really want to heavily prioritize as far as their itemization is concerned. Again, as Luna, you don't build armor. You don't want to build armor. As Death Prophet, You get a Shiva's Guard eventually, but it's not going to be your first item. It's not going to be your second item. It might be your second item. It's still going to take a long time to actually build up. So, just a very, very streamlined, almost kind of Drow Ranger-esque draft from the complexity side without needing to pick up that high-risk hero in the Drow. Of course, that's not going to come out till later. The Elder Titan's lane is very dangerous if he gets support. If he's by himself, even if you do jump with an Astral Spirit over here, have him walk over here, and just get all these neutrals worth of damage in your spirit, you still have to chase down a Luna and kill her off, just with right clicks. That's not going to happen. Bane as well can just put you to sleep, so all your damage is going to go down the drain. So definitely a inconsistent offlane hero. But hey, we've seen ETs just run a train on their opponents. With a little bit of help from Winter Wyvern Slow or a Slardar Stun, you can definitely get the job done. Let's see who's going to be playing what. Looks like Sneaking's all alone on this like top half of the map. Like this all belongs to Sneaking right now. He's going to be playing the Clockwork on the Sand King. It's Flea. We got Roya playing the Death Prophet. Sand King is on the Bane. That leaves Ahsoka on the Luna. Again, Ahsoka equals Yawar, but I'm going to be calling him Ahsoka because he's tagged up like that, and that means he wants to be called that. There you go. On the complexity side, we got Z-Freak playing the Winter Wyvern. Mu is on the Elder Titan. Kind of looks like a cow. A little bit. He's got the horns at least. Kyle's playing the Slardar. On the Sniper, we got Limp, and up towards top lane, Chessie's going to be chugging up there as the Tiny. A little bit of a skirmish here for this first bounty rune. Not really. It's just going to be them swooping in. It's going to be a 2 for 2, though. Sneaking is able to grab both bounty runes for himself on that top lane. Still a 2 for 2, and we'll see how much help they actually want to give Mu. First Spirit was, kind of mediocre. But for the most part, this Elder Titan with Winter Wyvern can do a lot of damage if they find their angles. Boots first in the Sand King will be a little bit difficult to deal with. Again, Bane is one of the tankiest support heroes you can pick up. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm not a huge believer in ET. Really, I don't, like, he gets the damage right now. They have the burn. They can force this Luna back simply because they have the movement speed advantage. But now that the spirit damage is kind of dwindling, what else do they have? They don't really have much. Winter Wyvern's going to get burrow struck up and just chased down with a brain sap. Will die. Mu has grabbed a little bit of damage from additional spirit, chasing after Sand King. But again, this is a Bane we're talking here. You can't easily kill him off. So Mu, even with, what was that, like plus, let's say it was plus 40 damage, it's still not really going to be enough. Sneaking in the meantime should be just fine on the top lane. Going up against two melee heroes with the cogs at his advantage. Burning out the Tiny used to be a really solid strat as far as kind of neutering him in lane. Not really as much anymore since tree grab is dirt cheap. But still, he's going to be very resistant to the offensive powers of the complexity top lane. So I expect Sneaking to have a very safe lane. Maybe not the most CS necessarily, but for sure he's going to have a very safe experience until he gets just massively out of position and gets crushed. Or there's a rotation. Either way, it should be quite safe. Over in mid lane, Limp is taking a lot of damage from just random sources, creeps, aggro, stuff like that. He'll be just fine, and as long as this bottom lane can kind of occupy the supports of Sand King and Flea, then Limp can continue to remain probably at worst on par with the Death Prophet. Death Prophet has the damage advantage, she has the nuke advantage, but she has a much worse projectile. You expect this lane to just kind of end up drawing even. Kyle, he's sprinting away. He cannot sprint fast enough. Are you kidding me? This battery assault's really going to get the kill? It's a level 2 battery assault. Slaughter has boots and sprint, but he still got chased down because this has, I don't even know what percentage equivalent it would be in slow, but my god, it's enough. Z-Freak, though, ooh, not to be outdone, is going to snipe a courier. Getting a kill for Sneaking is quite nice, but losing the courier in exchange, yeah, that's fairly costly. Sneaking will find Kyle once again with the battery assault. Avalanche going to bail him out. Chessie is going to be able to chuck a tree. That's about it, though, on the bottom lane in the meantime. Nighty Night, Elder Titan, he's going to wake up with the Burrow Strike. Ahsoka is going to be here with the beam as well. Mu is going to get beamed up. And it's going to be a very easy kill as the ET. Level 3 has gotten quite a bit of experience, but outside of that, cannot really apply much pressure to this lane by his lonesome. ET, we used to see him occasionally play as kind of like a supporty type hero, not really given much room to farm. If you do get a lot of farm time on the Elder Titan, you usually just build kind of supporty items anyway. Very aura-based builds. First of all, you want to get your mana sustain situation all sorted out with that soul ring. Sometimes we see arcane boots, but usually it's going to be like medallion type items, Vlad's type items. Not really heavy hitting items, just very supporty. And Stan King is kind of getting baited in a little bit, but Winter Wyvern still being a little bit hesitant here. They have the Spirit on the return. Stan King has a Nightmare, and Moo is charging in really quickly with a lot of damage. But Stan King can just put him to sleep and walk away, so that was kind of anticlimactic. You see CS starting to be built up. All three of these Radiant heroes, in fact. Clockwork has gotten a lot more raw CS than I expected. Just the lack of threat here for the Clockwork. Plus the fact that he's able to kill off the Slardar, which certainly doesn't hurt. Gives him a little bit of a safe and secure early game. You can see the advantage, though, still is completely dead even, despite 3 kills going the way of VGJ.Storm. That Courier snipe definitely is going to balance things out quite a bit. And, you know, they're doing well on a lot of heroes, but Complexity are doing very well on just a couple more. Got to keep our eye on stacks. We'll see what the Tiny can do with that. Isn't really going to be looking to clear them up until the tree grab gets maxed out, and still he's a long ways away. But so far, coL has done about nothing. And there's not many great situations for a Slardar to help out. You can land a crush onto Roya. You're going to do a little bit of damage with the shrapnel with the right clicks, but you're not going to be able to out-sustain the Spirit Siphon. They're going to try it anyway, but Siphon's already up, and Roya is going to just, yeah, lose about half his HP. It wasn't a bad damage trade. It was, in fact, really good for Complexity, but that's still not going to help coL actually get any further in this game. So it's a little bit of an empty rotation there. If he's able to grab a couple of bounty runes, then that'll be great for the Slardar to try to get some experience going. But going all the way towards bottom lane, kind of snaking behind the supports of VGJ.Storm, and gets a good position on 2R. Now this is a very good opportunity for coL, but at the same time, he's surrounded. He doesn't know about it. Smoke's gonna be broken. Stan King and Fleet both being spotted now as coL's gonna line up a crush. Will land onto 1, and the Burrow Strike misses from Fleet. But at the same time, so does the Stomp. So yeah, there you go. Everyone's gonna miss all their spells. Nobody's gonna die. It's all okay. No panic. Again, this Elder Titan is just such a finicky hero. Sometimes when you're able to land those stomps into the Earth Splitter, just having that spirit there with the aura, it just absolutely destroys your opposition. Other times you just can't do that, and it just doesn't do anything. Oh, Z-Freak with the Greed decided not to throw a Deny into that rune. Is gonna get just chunked down by the DD Bane. Does some pretty decent damage himself, and he has Limp coming in. Stan King may have overplayed his hand because he's going to get shot straight in the face. Splinter Blast trying to seal the kill. It doesn't matter. Limp got it, and that's all that matters. Sniper getting a pretty much freebie. He's starting to pull ahead slightly over the Death Prophet, but this advantage for the Sniper is not something that the Death Prophet can't come back from. coL, though, is in a bad spot. Can't miss a Burrow Strike at that range. Beamed up and perfectly chain stun thanks to a little bit of a mini stun from the Lucent Beam. I do like the idea of giving the Slardar this off lane, but he can do even less than the Elder Titan up against this trio of heroes. It's just such a clean setup with the Nightmare into Burrow Strike, or just walk into Burrow Strike. It works so perfectly every single time. Unless they're staggered in a bad spot, Flea and Stan King are going to be separated and cannot initiate onto the Z-Freak Winter Wyvern in time. Sniper, though, is level 7, maxed out Shrapnel. Now, between that damage over time, oh, they can definitely kill off this Bane. Wandered in way too far. And he's gonna Nightmare himself, but that doesn't actually do anything anymore. Hookshot coming in, though, from sneaking, gets crushed in the face. coL is definitely gonna fall here, unless the Embrace. No one's actually targeting him, still will fall. Now, 2-man Burrow Strike with the Ghosts out. Z-Freak is gonna fall, Limp as well. Sneaking grabs a triple kill with his Battery Assault, canceling the TP. And look at that, hey, there's a tower right here to exercise. Evil spirits be gone. Ryora's gonna get to work on that one. And Complexity find a nice little angle to kill off that Bane, but did not expect Sneaking's rotation. It's a level 7 Clockwork with maxed out Battery Assault. You do not want to underestimate this guy. He will just destroy you. And at the same time will not be destroyed because, hey, it's a Clockwork. He's very, very bulky. Bottom lane Moo is potentially in a little bit of trouble here. Flea does have a Burrow Strike. He's right on Moo's tail. Will land. Ahsoka's a little bit slow incoming, but with the Eclipse in range, should have enough to get the kill, and they will do very, very cleanly get the kill on Moo. Complexity are kind of bleeding out heroes at this point. We can see a 6-kill deficit. Yet still, they're doing okay. I mean, the gold lead is almost completely dead even. Just now turns into VGJ's favor. But, you know, even though Sniper did go down there, you still have to deal with Chessie. Got maxed out Toss at the moment, level 9. Means no one hero can very easily go up towards his top lane and have a good time. He'll just take so much threat just with Toss spam and trees being thrown at him. It's not fun. Tiny's gonna go straight for Shadow Blade, trying to get active a little bit earlier instead of going for the S and Y. Shot in, sneaking, ooh. Almost lands onto Kyle. Second hook shot is a dud, but the first hook shot was so good that I'm pretty sure they're not going to be bothered too much by it. Tower's going to be slowly but surely ground down. Limp really needs that farm space and the safety provided by this tier 1. So it's very important for Complexity to hold this tower. But it's also very difficult to hold. It's Luna Death Prophet draft after all. And of course, Luna is nowhere to be seen. She's actually going to give the lane to Flea. Level 6 on the Sand King, quite nice, but really you just want to level up that Burrow Strike as high as it can go. Is holding a point here. I don't know if there's any situation where you don't get Burrow Strike, but hey, he's got it in his back pocket when he needs it. Shadow Blade now up on the Tiny. No components shown off just yet, so there's a chance that someone on VGJ.Storm is going to stumble into an invisible rock monster and just get their faces pushed in. If you can land that gank onto Roya, that's obviously the highest value here. Luna's also very easy to kill, but much further away. Gonna join up with Kyle. Chessie can toss Kyle in for a crush. Very easy to initiate there, or just walk in and start beating face. Roya is gonna take a huge hit from that Shadow Blade. Toss is there and instantly dead. Hookshot comes in for the Clockwork, but 1v3 is not a fight that Sneaking wants to take. Will still do a lot of damage to Kyle, and with the beam coming in from the Luna, will get the kill. Nightmare, Burrow Strike is going to be overlapped, so I think they blocked the damage there. And now Flea is going to flee with a bullet to the back. He's going to get a coward's death, and so it looks like Sand King will survive. But VGJ.Storm bring everyone and their mom over to this... Okay, that was interesting. Over to this mid lane, and end up doing about no damage to the Complexity heroes. I mean, they do get the kill on the Slardar, and that is something, I suppose, but this Slardar really just did all he needed to do. Just land a crush on the Clockwork and then die. Obviously, you would rather not die. You would kind of want to build up your gold for the Blink Dagger. He's very poor at the moment. But it's all about that Shadow Blade Tiny. We'll see how much of a menace Chessie can actually be. Has a fully armed tree. Unfortunately, is lacking a target. Ahsoka Yuar is going to back off. But that Death Prophet, man. The additional, what is it, 150 Shadow Blade break damage? 175, I'm sorry. Combined with the fact that he already has about that much with his regular right click. Yeah, you know, just a casual double damage hit from a Tiny. No big deal. Chessie's going to be just that lurking assassin. And for right now, VGJ.Storm, you can see, giving him quite a bit of respect. Are grouped up on this top lane around Roya, so though they are grouped up, they can certainly make this grouping work out for themselves in the form of a push. But you definitely don't want to be a random hero jungling here. Like, this is like a gigantic dead zone right now until they actually have eyes once again on Chessie, which they do. So, you know, now they can really go in, but if you don't have vision, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Speaking of a lot of trouble, Z-Freak is going to get spotted by the flare. Going to try to fly away, jukes for all he's worth, and then TP out. Flea is going to miss his Burrow Strike, and Sneaking does not have visual confirmation, so he's not going to go for the hook shot. Nice juking and jiving there from the Winter Wyvern, but still doesn't die. Will not be able to save his tower. A lot of heroes on this top lane. You can see this push from Chessie is starting to pick up pace. Kyle's getting a lot of valuable free farm as well as Limp. Clearing out the stack over the Tiny. Maybe much slower, but hey, there's a Maelstrom right around the corner. Does he have the hammer? I assume he has the hammer. Oh my god, this courier's loaded. Got a drum for the Elitian, the hammer, and still need a recipe. Shot in, they found Kyle. 1v3, good luck, Slardar. I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do there except for crush and just wait for death. Feels bad, man. Chessie, though, is here. Still fully invis. Lands the shot onto 2 with the cleave damage. Does a lot of damage here. Now trying to focus down Sneaking. Assassination coming through. Will not get the kill, but the tree toss will. He gets gripped, though, and with the Eclipse, will cost them Chessie. Not worth it at all. That was a bold move to begin with, trying to go for 2 heroes there. knowing the fact that VGJ.Storm are in this area. So you got to get the kill out and then get out very quickly. You can't afford to dick around. Only by himself, Tiny definitely could have used some help there, but I'm not really sure where the rest of Complexity were. I mean, obviously the sniper helped out as much as he could, but that is entirely a situation where you need a Winter Wyvern to throw in a Curse, or an L-Time to throw in a Stomp, just any sort of combo breaker to get your Tiny just a couple of split seconds to wand up and maybe Shadow Blade out of there.
Radiant's middle tower is
Unfortunately, is not going to be happening. Still, despite being 5 kills behind, Complexity are working with a little bit of a gold lead here. And a lot of it is funneled into Chessie, so hook shot in. They will find themselves an Elder Titan. He's going to throw out an Earth Splitter, which will land, do a lot of damage sneaking. Actually, he's still alive. No way. Gets beamed up, but Limp's just right-clicking this Bane. And now with the haze onto Ahsoka, look at the sniper's right-clicks, chunking her down. Double kill for the sniper. He had a double damage rune the entire time. That's why. And hey, look at that. Another kill right around the corner as Roya gets jacked up by Chessie. Courier is going to be shielded. Man, that is such a small effect on Sniper. I could like barely see it, even though I'm now looking for it. DD on Sniper. An unpleasant surprise here for VGJ.Storm as they just get into a feeding frenzy over in the mid lane. Z-Freak is going to be doo-doo-doo-doo-dooed by Flea. Probably just death. No, well, Curse is there, which will keep the Burrow Strike from being cast. There was no mana anyway. Well played indeed. Z-Freak is going to make another escape out of this top lane. And Limp is going to cash in huge in that exchange over in mid. Oh, Chessie runs into a Bane. Is getting caught part of your plan? Pretty sure it wasn't. Like, this guy is a deadly assassin. Isn't really working with like the most conventional Tiny assassination build, because that's just not how Tiny works nowadays. But man, if you run into this guy, you're going to get your face pushed in. No problem whatsoever. So now Complexity are working with a little bit of momentum. The way they capitalize on this, outside of taking towers with the Sniper and the Tiny, is by trying to get coL enough space to farm with his Blink Dagger. He's been having a really tough time surviving. Every single time a fight goes right for Complexity, it seems like coL is the first one to go down. Sometimes witnesses those kills. Level 10 on the Slardar is actually really, really high. That is surprisingly high, actually. But, I mean, levels on Slardar, they don't really mean all that much compared to whether or not he has a Blink Dagger. And obviously, he doesn't right now. If you can get that, they can definitely keep this train rolling. Oh yeah, they're gonna get hazed up. There was a third hero here, for sure they can make a play, but the well, hero that they really need is Moo, is in trouble. Blink Burrow Strike is here from Flea, and they've caught themselves an ET. No chance to stomp here, so he's just gonna fight his way out, doing a lot of damage sneaking, and actually is trying for a lot longer than he really should. But with the rest of the VGJ side coming in, we'll converge on and kill off that. Okay, because Chessie came. What? I was watching the wrong hero die. Chessie was coming in to back him up, and apparently just got jacked up by a Sentry Ward placed earlier. And now it's going to be Flea leading the way into Limp. Here comes the Epicenter, really far away. Force Staff forward. Hits him with a couple of those Epicenter pulses, but Limp has a Force Staff of his own, plus several layers of shrapnel, plus no hookshot to deal with. He's going to try a straight TP out, and he will make it out alive. So Limp is going to be just fine, but this tower certainly will not be. Ahsoka and Roya just going to work there. Stomp is going to come in, land onto absolutely everything. Moo's going to deploy the Earth Splitter, and it's going to kill the Catapult. Got him. Over in bottom town in the meantime, it's Slaughter in a little bit of trouble once again. We'll see if he's going to die to the grip, but Roya's going to chase down by Moo with the help of Z-Freak, and bottom lane will be coL. Probably going down. There is not much here on the Sand King, but how the hell did he Nightmare from that far away? That was a little bit ridiculous. coL is going to not land the Crush because, wow, Flea broke the Nightmare, gave himself invulnerability, and therefore blocked the Crush. I'm pretty sure it didn't matter. They would have had the kill anyway, but that was actually sick. You could just take the Nightmare and take that small invulnerability frame, killing off the Slardar yet again. But this time at the cost of the Death Prophet. Roya sticking around the top lane for a little bit too long. Trying to greed out with that Exorcism, does about half damage to this tower. Not bad, but certainly not worth the death. Limp in the meantime. Force Staff saving his bacon once. Gonna go for the extra range. Definitely does need, though, these kind of front line heroes. The Tiny, the Blink Slardar. Hell, even just a random stomp from the Elder Titan to land if he's actually going to be doing damage safely. Because of the Blink Dagger on the Sand King with a hookshot sniper. Though he does have his defensive options in that Force Staff, soon to be Hurricane Pike. These are still not going to keep him completely safe. We'll smoke up now. Flare is going to see that no one's in Roche. Dire Scan is going to stay green, so there's no vision here for the Dire until the Elder Titan, Wandering Spirit, and coL Smoke breaking will reveal that someone's in this general area. Not really sure if that's something that they can capitalize off of, though. The top lane is something that they really would want because it's such an easy grab, but not when it's defended by the entirety of the Storm side. They're kind of okay just letting Limp farm. Limp and Chessie, they'll just get up to critical mass and just start plowing forward. VGJ.Storm will have a Luna who's farming pretty quickly as well. Death Prophet, though, just naturally cannot farm as fast as these heroes, will eventually fall behind if, for any reason, VGJ.Storm stop continuously getting objectives. Then Death Prophet, yeah, will kind of just naturally fall behind. You really want to be playing the offensive game as DP. Whereas for Tiny, you're okay slow rolling the game. Sniper, same exact thing. So this game state is going to be very favorable for the complexity heroes, and it does seem like they're getting just slightly more gold in this game state. They're just farming slightly more efficiently. They have the Slardar with the Blink Dagger pretty much locked up. Not the fastest in the world, but better late than never. It's actually giving a lot of momentum to this bottom lane. If Limp decides to actually join in, they have an observer in the area, which we'll see. I think you can maybe teleport back here and be safe. But this tower is actually almost dead to begin with. Towers probably will be traded, though. Soka with the Mask of Madness is going to do this tower in very quickly. 1 for 1, easy peasy. Even though VGJ.Storm, they do need to take the towers, complexity can... It does feel like they can do a little bit more with towers being down. Like, they have the Tiny, they have with Shadowblade, who really gets the most benefits from having fewer towers on the enemy side. Of course, Clockwork does get quite a few benefits as well, but the fact that this hero is just so naturally bulky and is going to go for Blade Mail means that in any given situation, if you really need to, you can tower dive. Tiny really doesn't want to do that. He's getting some armor now. 10 isn't bad, but yeah, he really just wants to be able to get those assassinations at will. And you obviously can't do that very easily if you're diving a tower. Yoya is going to show himself off in mid. That's the only hero that they actually see. Sentry's on the deck. So Chessie's arrival will be spotted. 2400 HP worth of Tiny, plus an absolute F-ton of status resistance. So Burrow Strike, Hookshot, not really going to do a ton for them. Even going to go for, hey, look at that, 100% status resistance. Not quite. In the BKB. Close enough. Definitely a little bit of a vision game going on right now. Sneaking's Flare is constantly being thrown out. Will unfortunately not help the Death Prophet. Invisible Tiny out of nowhere. Blink Slardar out of nowhere as well. And Yora is going to get instantly put into the ground. coL rotating out is going to find, with Moose, Snaking. And immediately get hazed up. Crush is going to be dodged by the Force Staff. So will that Stomp. He's giving in a hookshot up. They do know about that, of course. Full vision provided by that haze. But just that one pick off of the Death Prophet, and we can see complexity immediately converging into Roche. Corrosive Haze with Limp's damage output, with Chessie's damage output, should make this a pretty quick Roshan. But at the same time, VGJ.Storm, they can still mess with this. They have Eclipse, they have a Blink Epicenter, which, speaking of, is coming in. It's going to completely miss the Burrow Strike, though. Still, the Epi does a decent amount of damage. The Stomp is going to land onto 2 and completely separate Flea from his allies. That's going to lead to his death. coL hazing up everyone right now. Assassination going on to Sand King. Blink forward for a crush or just one hit. Boom. Oh, Nightmare dodge by Sand King. What a god. Cannot dodge the secondary nuke coming in, though, in the Spirit. Sick attempt there from the Bane, but ultimately they try to greed out a little bit too much in complexity. Saw that coming a mile away. Roshan will be put in the bag. Chessie grabs an Aegis, and everyone from complexity can be A-okay. Yawar didn't have any part of that. An Eclipse probably would have gotten a kill, but definitely would have costed the Luna her life if she decided to join that fight. So a little bit of a split pushy type play. Puts about half damage into this top tier 3. Not bad at all. But bleeding out in these heroes with very little response. I really can't blame VGJ.Storm for going for that, because it seems like something that they maybe do, assuming the God Epicenter, but No hook shot means getting in there is so difficult. And of course you don't have your death prophet, so it's even more difficult. Oh, speaking of difficulties, Clockwork is going to get hazed. Not much help here, just Moo and Kyle, so that'll show him. One crush, back off.
Dire's bottom tower is under
War is pretty farmed, but he's still behind the sniper and the tiny. Net worth-wise, Luna is going to be kind of just outgunned, quite literally, actually. Tiny also is pushing that level 3 grow mark. Even more status resistance? Why not? Even more damage? Why not?
Radiant structures are fortified.
We found double damage.
Radiant's
Limp.
middle
That has
tower
your name
is
on
under
it.
attack.
I would rather give it to Chessie. It looks like they're feeling comfortable enough to just keep their smoke. They are going to run sneaking from behind. And currently they are spotted by nothing it looks like. They'll find the crush just on the edge for the Clockwork. He's hazed up. He has Blade Mail on, but Assassination is going to be missed actually. Casted on a creep. Now will be casted correctly and we'll get the kill. You gotta wait for the Blade Mail timeout before you shoot him in the face.
Dire's structures are
Soka's
fortified.
pushing all the while, doing her best. But not really sure if Luna can outpush both Sniper and Tiny. They're gonna get to work on the top lane.
Are fortified.
Who actually picked up that DD? Did the Clockwork have it?
Radiant's top tower
was
is
a-
under attack.
I don't freaking know. But either way, the tower is gonna be taken tier 2 for tier 1. We can see this game state for complexity. A kill here, a kill there. A split push from a Luna is not really going to bother complexity to the point where they're going to have to drastically change their playstyle. So the fact that they're getting kills is great. The fact that they're getting towers, perhaps even better. And they're just getting all the farm in between. So VGJ.Storm definitely need to make some sort of team fight happen. I feel like that's probably where they're at their strongest. Get the epicenter, get the exorcism going. Even have a freaking Heaven's Halberd on the Death Prophet. So for sure can have good answers to the Sniper, to the Tiny. Well, I mean, to some extent. Still gotta grind through this gigantic rock monster twice. Good luck. But as long as complexity are just playing that very, very ratty type of style, they're just gonna be pulling further and further ahead. Really, no way for VGJ.Storm to break out of this, except for that giant kind of cataclysmic team fight. Sneaking is under vision right now. Does he know about it? It seems like he does know about it. Yeah, there's an observer back here. Kind of obvious. Flea, though, he has a Force Staff? No? Okay, he's dead. Towards the top side, Roya. Oh, he has a Yule Scepter, but he has no TP. It's not even going to matter that Yule Scepter just gets obliterated by the crush and the right clicks from the sniper. VGJ.Storm needs to make something happen. They are bleeding out heroes very, very quickly. And even though the Luna has now picked up her farm paces on top of the net worth charge, she's the only one who's farming here. No one else on complexity is getting any sort of, on VGJ.Storm rather, is getting any sort of respectable farm. Holy crap, there's a Blink Dagger, Glimmer Cape on Z-Freak. Winter Wyvern doesn't really farm that quickly either, but Winter Wyvern has kind of been just dealing with Luna's push, which means that he's been getting like all these free creep waves that are already kind of banged up, so he could very easily snipe him out with Splinter Blast. Speaking of sniping people, Stan King's going to get avalanched and tossed up. Hookshot's going to interrupt the crush. They can't easily get that kill. Now Chessie, well, he's going to get gripped, but so much status resistance, that grip didn't last at all. Oh, that feels so bad as a Bane. Now she's going to get picked apart by Limp from a distance. Here comes the bullet to the brain. No Nightmare in time. We'll get a very free kill. Chessie still has the Aegis, so he doesn't give a damn about this tier 3. And my god, Flea's getting obliterated by level 2 Corrosive Haze. Chessie is going to get lifted. And he's going to lose his Aegis, probably. He will. But they don't really care about that, because that's what Aegis is for. Going to pop right back up and, once again, start pushing this wave. Ahsoka is going to be able to split push this bottom wave, but obviously top and mid are kind of in full breach right now. No Sand King alive. Right now, no hookshot means that this tower is easy pickings. Got a pipe coming out as well, so Eclipse from the Luna is going to be much less effective. Kyle, Blink Crush, a little bit off, but hey, it's not a big deal. Chessie does have to watch out. Gets Force Staff into not quite the cogs. That would have been absolutely nasty from sneaking. Why use hookshot when you could just use hookshot to pull? Can you do that in Legends of Zelda? Can your hookshot pull things? It can, but you need like weight boots? I don't know. It's been a long time. Either way, the tower's going to be picked out. by Limp. Of course, these shrines don't stand a chance in hell. So Complexity just slowly but surely collapsing this map, and VGJ.Storm so far with absolutely no response. Moo is going to put some, get warded actually. Send his spooky spirit out. Man, what is it with this game and just like everyone having some way of like getting a spirit? Seems like all these, this genre has a lot of undead, turns out. In case you guys didn't know. Spooky scaries. No racks have been taken just yet for Complexity. So they're not completely wrecking VGJ.Storm across all fronts. But it's kind of getting to that point. Like, Z-Freak hasn't even like been needed in this game, like at all. He's got the Blink Dagger and the Curse and the Embrace, so he can very easily get to where he needs to be. Of course, he has Glimmer Cape as well. With the Pipe Barrier from the Elder Titan. Magic damage, it's not even going to do it, man. The best chance they have is trying to get a grip on the Tiny and trying to get him killed off very quickly, but he has so much status resistance. How much? 23.4. That doesn't count the additional 40. So yeah, the grip, it lasted like a second and a half. It's supposed to last a little bit longer than that. Just a little bit. You can still grip him even if he's BKB'd, but I'm not really sure if that's going to do anything. Sneaky Roya is going to try to creep cut, but there is a Wyvern on the case. They have a curse if they want to do anything. Okay, I guess Z-Freak wasn't looking. Shit happens. Definitely worth the curse. There's no way the Death Prophet gets out of that afterwards. And again, he hasn't really been playing the game. He's mostly been on counter push duty, so you might as well use the curse. Even in a quote-unquote less than ideal situation. VGJ are going to group up towards top. It may be a little bit too late for this, though. I mean, this is, again, still the best chance of having Complexity group up a little bit too much. Maybe destroy them in an Exorcism and an Epicenter. But now that the pipe is up, and now that Complexity are 16k ahead, it does seem like even if that all happens, like, the best they can hope for VGJ.Storm is an even trade. Which they're definitely going to take, but they would kind of like better than that. See, he's going to get to work on the melee racks. I mean, Limp is trying as well, but Tiny is Tiny, you know? Top lane, a lot of momentum going back in towards the Dire, but I'm pretty sure they don't really care too much about that. They'll grab the melee racks and back off. Top lane is still pushing, but again, this isn't really a huge concern for Complexity. They are looking for more in the form of objectives. They will find a Clockwork and a Death Prophet. She is, however, going to get Avalanche Toss and just, you know, with the Eul Scepter save herself for a little bit. The Eclipse does go out, but everyone is match committed except for Z-Freak, who's going to have the Embrace for himself, so he's going to be just fine. Crush coming in from Kyle will seal the deal onto Roya and will absorb the entire Epicenter. Kyle absorbing so many bullets for his team, and he's not even going to go down. Spirit now going to land stomp onto Sneaking, crush him into the dirt as the tree's going to fly in. Oh my god, the damage. Oh, there was a Bane there, but no longer. And ultimately, they do take down only the Winter Wyvern. Chessie has the heart. He's back up to full HP. Flea is behind, but just a Sand King with no Epicenter can't really do much here. Despite the fact that he's looking at Limp, he really wants it. He doesn't have enough damage to do it, even if he was to YOLO in. Buyback from Ahsoka. Immediately Crush is there. Gets force staffed out by Sneaking, so we'll be fine for right now. So there's no creep wave coming in through top. Only creep wave is in the mid lane, so this push is going to be a little bit awkward for Complexity. Looks like they will decide to fall back. Hey, look at that. Fall back into Roche. I'm not sure if there has been a flare there recently. Snake Game bought back as well, so Complexity taking a massive kill exchange. In addition to that, we'll force out buybacks at the cost of none of their own. And we'll have Roche on take shortly. And that Death Prophet. Heaven's Halberd is a great item right now, but it's just still not durable enough to withstand that Tiny's onslaught. And then the Sniper's onslaught as well. Heaven's Halberd range isn't that high compared to Sniper's effective range, which is absolutely disgustingly huge. I feel like this is not accurate. Is this attack range accurate? Hurricane Pike and maxed out take aim, I feel like it should be larger than that, but either way. Limp's still got a lot of safety here. We'll make the conservative call despite the Corrosive Haze. We'll back out of Roshan and just try to set up and receive VGJ. Vision-wise, there is none here for the Dire. Everyone on the VGJ side is smoked. They will back off with Chessie Invisible leading the way. And look for a little bit of wraparound. They will have the Spirit constantly pushing out. And Chessie will lose his Invis, but he is feeling so confident, being 4,500 HP worth of Rock Monster. With Insight Aura, backing him up, with BKB. What are you supposed to do against this? Limp's gonna pop his own BKB. Hook shot for sneaking is good. Lands on the 2, but they're gonna line up for Chessie to start beating through all of them. That's immediately 2 down. Soka's got his own BKB, but he's not doing nearly enough damage. The grip goes on to the Slardar, but it's fine because he's got the Embrace, and it's a Slardar at the end of the day. They don't really care if they lose Kyle because Chessie and Limp are still beating face. In fact, GG is called. 4 for none. Looking for that 5 for none. Not gonna happen. But it doesn't really matter. Oh, will it happen? No, not quite. Even with the hook shot onto the sniper, even with such a messed up, clumped up fight there, which is usually going to be just fine for VGJ.Storm, it's just not enough. Complexity gets a little bit slow coming out the gate, but the farm was up on the heroes that matter. Limp had a very free farm time. Chessie had an even freer time. And even though this Elder Titan, I'm not really sure, quite earned his keep, it didn't really matter. Mu was definitely doing some serious work, though. Those stomps landed when they needed to. I don't know if there was a Earth Splitter in the last fight that was actually valuable. But hey, as long as you're in the fight as an Elder Titan, your team is going to be doing a lot of damage. And you have the Solar Crest and the Pipe, so they're going to be taking very little damage as well. It's all good. You just got to make sure not to die. And 4 deaths is a decent amount. Complexity Gaming, kind of as expected, are going to be taking game 1 from VGJ.Storm. Though it did look convincing after a certain portion of that game, it is certainly not going to be VGJ.Storm lying back and just conceding, as they definitely do have some game here. We could all see that in this game. The complexity is just being a little bit better. We'll see what happens in game 2. This is, after all, a best of 3 to determine who faces up against Optic next. Guys, I'm Mike Loris. It's been a pleasure casting these games. I'll be back in just a little bit. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Galaxy Battle. Game 2 between Complexity and VGJ.Storm. Winner faces Optic tomorrow. Tomorrow. The finals are tomorrow. Now, can you all please stop asking? Jesus Christ. I'm Mike Lawrence, going to be your caster for this game. Complexity looking clean in the first game. I would just normally say Complexity are going to be the ones to take this series. They are the favorites here. They've been playing so well lately. But VGJ.Storm, again, it seems like every single game that I cast for this tournament, we have a team that I have seen play better up against equally good teams, and then they just kind of crumble. I mean, maybe not equally good. Complexity are pretty damn good. But I feel like Immortals earlier, they did not play up to par. VGJ.Storm, they definitely stumbled a lot in that last game. So here's hoping that we have a 3-game set. I'm pretty sure every single NA game I casted for Galaxy Battle is just a 2-0 stomp, which is like great for my schedule. Like, I don't have to actually sit here forever. I could, you know, go off and do other things, but damn, show me some better games, guys. Please make it closer. Don't make it like 3 stomps in a row. That's not fun for anyone. VGJ.Storm, though, with the IO still in the pool, are going to go ahead and grab that. They ban out the Tiny. Smart move up against Complexity. They're going to face up against, though, Witch Doctor as well as Gyrocopter. Now, first of all, Witch Doctor, nice here to have versus the IO, regardless of what IO partnership is going to be. Usually that cask is going to be doing some serious damage. Maledict is something that you can kind of counter with the IO, and that's kind of bad, but you know what? The cask is worth it, especially when you pair him up with the Gyrocopter. So this is going to be a very powerful lane opening for the Complexity side. I don't know if it's powerful enough yet, obviously, to really try to take the IO in lane. Normally, the IOs these days are just going to be safe laning. Mid lane IO stacking seems like that's just a giant thing of the past. But IO is kind of a dead hero in lane. Doesn't do anything. Is like Lich, except the worse. You give your allies some sustain, but the only way I think IO is actually good offensively is either with a Tiny, in which case you could toss people back into your tower, and that's very situational, or with a Legion Commander, which I'm pretty sure is just never run anymore. I used to really like that, like the whole Legion IO dual offlane. It was cute as hell. It only works sometimes, but man, when it worked, it worked.
Dire team
If it is going to be an offensive setup for complexity, Gyrocopter is one of, if not the best, heroes at doing that. They, of course, will need a third hero to kind of contribute into that. But, hey, you're looking at pretty much any given support. As long as it is a hero with either range or some form of mild crowd control, they'll be fine. Is the finals today or tomorrow? God, I'm not sure. It's a mystery is what it is. VGJ.Storm, though, picking up the IO, picking up a Tusk. Not a bad defensive set of heroes. Certainly needed up against this offensive set from complexity. Have seen VGJ.Storm do decently with the Tusk in the past. But it is always going to be that finicky hero. Like, it is very, very dependent on landing those shards, walling off ramps, staircases, and whatnot. If you can land it, you then need the follow-up. IO is not going to be that follow-up, so they definitely need some extra damage. Usually you want someone like a Gyrocopter to follow up with you. Razor as well would be another great hero to capitalize off of a blocked off hero. But for right now, all those can be taken out, along with Z-Freak, taking out his Enchantress, which is, again, something that is definitely in the crosshairs of most teams. The Quap as well, a hero that Tusk typically just struggles up against. VGJ.Storm, they have all these defensive tools, but they definitely need someone worth defending. The pool of that is going to be pretty much infinite. It doesn't really matter who it is. There are always going to be heroes that are worth defending. But I am concerned for them if complexity truly decide to turn up the heat offensively. Make an offensive tri-lane, put that one together. They can definitely put the screws to VGJ.Storm. They have, obviously, stun into stun. They could stun into stun, grabbing someone like a Slardar, or just go full ham. This is actually not in the criteria that I outlined earlier. Either a mild CC, which Undying really doesn't have, or range, which Undying also doesn't have. But you know what? That's fine, because Undying craps on tri-lanes more so than any other hero in the game. So for VGJ.Storm, this is just a gigantic dead zone. I'm not sure if they can get any 3 heroes with their last 3 picks that will actually be able to contest this, because this is just that deadly. They will have to kind of sack that lane or get a hero that is able to farm from a very, very safe distance. Even then, he's going to be poked out 24/7. This is such a vicious opening from the complexity side.
Radiant team pick.
Can they pick up? Well, that's not going to be a response to this lane necessarily. If it is going to be VGJ.Storm looking to, quote-unquote, dodge that offensive lane, put the Batrider against him, and Batrider's not going to have a great time either, that's for sure, but is at least going to be 1 hero getting crapped on instead of 3.
10 seconds.
Minimize your losses. And this is definitely going to be one of those games where we're likely to see a lot of lane swappage back and forth. And VGJ.Storm have their initiation now with this bat. For the most part, we'll pick it up just because it's a very resilient hero in lane. Still looking for that IO partner. Tusk going to be that 4 position. And for complexity, with Puck and Queen of Pain being banned out, the most mobile heroes in mid, heroes that are just completely resistant to Tusk entirely, can be pared down by quite a bit. They can go for a Magnus mid. For sure, that is something that, well, I'm not sure if this iteration of complexity has done it a lot, but yeah, we've seen Limp and Chessie both when they were in mid lanes, short stints for sure for some of them, but pick up the Magnus mid. That was a different time. Not really sure if it's on the radar, but Skewer out is definitely a not terrible way of escaping from shards. They'll go for a Vengeful Spirit though, so we have ourselves a little bit of a mix-up here perhaps. Maybe Gyrocopter going to take to a solo lane, maybe even dual lanes for complexity. But they have great scaling, that's for sure for complexity. With the Vengeful Spirit and the Gyrocopter, the real power level of this Vengeful Spirit comes, 1, in the form of being able to snap Batrider Lasso, and 2, making more offensive lanes. They have such powerful lanes, and we'll give them a little bit of push power as well. So if you win your lane, that's all well and good. Being able to push down towers afterwards is certainly not too bad either. Tombstone not CC? I mean, it technically is, but the slow is just so slow to stack up that it's usually not a relevant amount. It is, I mean, I guess I just said slight CC. The zombie slows for like 7% or something stupid like that every single time. It's really kind of pathetic, and you don't get that anyway until at least level 3. Sometimes level 2, I suppose, but it's not going to be your priority as Undying. Complexity are just looking to smork these lanes, and VGJ.Storm, they gotta try to dodge it. Again, I'm not really sure what this lane setup for Complexity is really going to look like. Dual lanes are a possibility. Gyrocopter, can he solo a safe lane? Like a Mood Gyrocopter with Avenge Undying Witch Doctor lane? Phantom Lancer is a hero that will have an escape versus this, but will still just get kind of brick-walled in the lane. Is an okay hero only with the IO. He doesn't really make a gigantic splash when he gets relocated in. Someone like an Ursa, you relocate him in, and, well, he's going to get his claws into someone. Tiny as well, the most classic combo there, or the CK, like, once you get in there, you do a lot of damage instantly. PL is a little bit slower and steadier, especially since PL builds usually revolve around just being annoying, resilient with mana burn. Still is a hero that will have an escape sometimes. Pretty good answer to the Magic Missile and the Cask, both of which are very dodgeable with Doppelgang out. But this is looking like VGJ.Storm might just lose the lane, lose the game in these lanes. There's definitely a chance of that.
5 seconds remaining.
Still, I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. I'm looking at offensive trial with Avenge Undying Witch Doctor. That's probably one of the deadliest you can get. Gyrocopter mid seems to be the read here from the VGJ.Storm side. I think I've only seen Gyrocopter go to side lanes so far, at least from the casting chair. VGJ.Storm still looking for their mid lane.
Remaining.
Rotations coming in will be annoying.
5 seconds remaining.
But I think that maybe with this power of lanes, maybe Complexity will just want to keep these heroes kind of standing in the lanes, not roaming around all that much. Definitely need a hero that can get some decent mid-game fighting. So you definitely know that Complexity are going to be bringing the fight to you. TA, how good is TA? He's really not that great up against Gyrocopter's Rocket Barrage, but other than that, is not terrible. With an IO, can you make any cute combos happen there? Not incredibly sure. And then a hero like Mirana can definitely get a lot done. Is kind of finicky because they don't have much setup for her arrow, so in lane you'll just be kind of out on an island. They can tinker, and that can be a very greedy setup for VGJ.Storm. But at the same time, it's like they kind of need to take that risk, it seems. Storm Spirit, oh, he's just going to get crapped on early on if they pick up Storm. It's going to be a good pick for the mid game, but it's going to be really risky. That is a Lifestealer, so it's a mid lane PL. As a Lifestealer is a little bit more resilient than PL in the safe lane scenario. Lifestealer together with the Batrider as well. Certainly a powerful duo of heroes once you get the Blink Dagger, once you get the Infest going and the Armlet.
10 seconds remaining.
But for VGJ.Storm,
5 seconds
I'm not really sure if they have enough early game fighting here to compete with Complexity. Again, Lifestealer, PL, they're definitely not terrible. Like, Spectre is terrible. But Complexity, all of their picks are designed to crush lanes. And I'm not sure if VGJ.Storm with their defensive power of IO Tusk, which is definitely not irrelevant, but is kind of very situational. I'm not really sure about this. What do Complexity actually want here? Will depend on their lanes. If they are a little bit short on initiation. A Clockwork pick seems decent. It doesn't really have much game versus a PL though, so that could be a little bit awkward. Timbersaw. How good is Timbersaw? Timbersaw is actually decent. That is not a Timbersaw. That's an Abaddon. Okay, so I mentioned that Vengeful Spirit snap on the coil. We'll be able to buff that out as well. So you got yourself quite a few options here for Complexity. Still not really sure he's going to be taking towards the mid lane, so we're going to have a little bit of a mix-up here in the lane department. We'll see as they all decide to ultimately load out, but Abaddon is going to give the Complexity side that extra system. Whoa, what the hell is this? That is absolutely nasty looking. I love it. He's riding an anglerfish. He's riding a Slark Gyrocopter. That's so cool, guys. I don't look at cosmetics like when they come out. I just don't care about that shit. But that is sick. Undying looks okay as well. But Yeah, it's going to give them that extra sustain. Once they get entrenched in, the way you actually push in, you get that attack speed buff thanks to the Abaddon's Blade. You get that extra sustain, keep your core heroes safe, that Vengeful Spirit and Gyrocopter safe. And together with the Aphotic Shield and the swap out, good luck sneaking. I mean, his lane was already going to be at least somewhat contested. But now that he's going to have a really tough time in the mid game, Complexity are working with a very, very offensive timing. A little bit earlier than usual, in fact, because of how powerful their lanes are. So 20 minutes definitely is going to be the time where Complexity are going to be looking to fully hit their stride. Again, that's either a point where they're taking racks or have just all the map control in the world, in which case they can kind of slow roll afterwards. So I'm not sure about this draft from VGJ.Storm. Complexity seem like they are holding all the cards here. They're both going to be loading out into their lanes. Going to send Moo on the Abaddon up towards top, face up against, at least for right now, that Lifestealer. Z-Freak is going to be leading the way on the Undying. He's got like a weird Gladiator helmet on. Not really sure if that fits with Undying. I'm not really sure what Undying is supposed to be, but I'm pretty sure not a Gladiator. Kyle's on the Witch Doctor, got Chessie on the Vengeful Spirit, and Lim following up as the Gyrocopter. Sneaking's going to be spotted as the Bat Rider. Shards will... Did that actually do damage? Shards are so weird, man. Shards going to be thrown out by Flea's Tusk. Got Stanking on the Io. Yoya is on the Phantom Lancer, and that Lifestealer I mentioned earlier. That's going to be Yawar / Ahsoka. And or Ahsoka. Playing that Lifestealer top lane. Yeah, Lifestealer is going to have an okay farming lane up towards top lane, but even with an Io, even with a Tusk, like killing off Abaddon is always going to be difficult. Very, very durable hero. Not the most armor, but still, he's going to be able to put the fight into this Lifestealer. You can see he's kind of waiting for Lifestealer to approach. Come at me, bro. Okay, now he sees three heroes. He's like, okay, you can have this rune. I'll allow it. Looks like runes will be split either way. 2-2. Stanking gets his, and that's the really important thing here. VGJ.Storm is for Io to get that bounty rune. All right, guys, that's not a Slark. That's a Slardar. Oh, God. My marine biology education, of which I have none, is suddenly revealed. Sincerest apologies. Limp is going to be mid laning up against a Phantom Lancer. I don't believe I've actually seen this matchup ever before. This Gyrocopter, at least nowadays, usually they get their value by getting those points in the homing missile. And homing missile is pretty damn impossible to land versus a Phantom Lancer, and he's going to get jacked up by Flea and Sand King. There are shards, and he knows about it, but this passageway is wide enough that even with the shards, actually he's getting pretty well blocked. Takes a lot of damage here, and he doesn't have that much regen left, but at the same time, he wasn't really able to do that much anyway. No creeps died in the meantime. It's like an abyss fish. It's an angler fish, guys. Jeez. Come on. Get your marine deep sea creatures education. Oh, God. Well, again, I'm not educated in that, so there's no shame there. Up towards top lane, Lifestealer and Io. I mean, it'll help deal with this Abaddon, but Z-Freak's going to arrive, and Io really doesn't want to deal with this Undying. He's going to immediately piece out here. Even Lifestealer, and he's a strength hero after all, so losing that strength makes your base damage less. Makes your feast more powerful, I guess, up against Undying, but that's just a negligible trade-off for the most part. Should be a rather free farming Abaddon in this top lane, and over towards bottom, Chessie the Vengeful Spirit, just with Kyle right now. Only two heroes not able to really just brick wall this Bat Rider just yet. See Bat Rider getting a pretty full creep wave. No range creep here, which kind of sucks. But still, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to Bat Rider lanes. You take whatever you can get, and you'll be happy for it. Moo and Ahsoka once again in the Thunderdome. No points in the blade just yet, but still is doing a lot of damage with the minus 12 strength from that Undying earlier. Moo is going maybe a little bit too deep in here. I mean, he is going to see the fact that Ahsoka has been tangoing up the entire time. Low health pool means that tangos do fill up that bar pretty quickly. Then when you get your strength back, that actually kind of is the upside there, if there is an upside to being decayed. But that gets even more dangerous once the blade comes up. Chessie gonna get jumped on the bottom lane, but the lack of hard disables here really is gonna cost them. Snowball gonna dodge the magic missile though. Still they're tower diving with Maledict on them. 3 stacks of napalm here as Chessie's gonna try to juke out Sneaking. Not quite gonna work, but Kyle with the Maledict takes down Flea first. Now is right clicking with the tower onto Sand King. The creeps are there as well. He has one more bottle charge, but the creeps are going to cut him off. Still is able to bottle, but he's taking so much damage as he's going to tether over towards Z-Freak. Takes a magic missile to the dome, and Chessie's still alive. Sneaking, not enough damage, just a level 2 Bat Rider. Z-Freak coming in at just the nick of time. Ultimately, what looks good for VGJ.Storm being able to dodge the magic missile with a snowball turns into an absolute nightmare as they underestimate the power of just a level 1 Maledict. Still, that does do quite a bit of damage. Looks like it will be an old school gyrocopter build. Maxing out that rocket barrage, maxing out that flat cannon. Again, the homing missile is absolute trash up against Phantom Lancer, so you don't want to deal with that. Not worth the skill points. Flat cannon is pretty good versus PL. Rocket barrage is, it's okay only, but sure as hell a lot better than a homing missile. He's gonna get put into a corner though. Limp has rocket barrage landing only onto heroes, but still he is in a corner and in a lot of trouble. Sneaking in more trouble, will fall elsewhere, as the Bat Rider will get once again comboed down by this Vengeful Spirit and maybe in someone dying help. Yeah, someone dying help there as well. A 1-for-1 trade, definitely a trade that VGJ.Storm are going to be okay making, is if at any time you're able to kill off this mid lane gyrocopter, you're going to take it. Flea and Stan King on the roam looking for Moo. Very, very weak on health, but what the? Stop, guys. I'm looking at a dive happening top lane and you're diving bottom lane. God damn it, Complexity. Why you gotta be like that? Abaddon chugged down the salve and he is not really an easy kill any longer, and Bat Rider just got his face handed to him on bottom lane. Again, stun into stun. There is nothing that he can really do to help him against that. Moo is in a little bit of trouble now. Shards and Snowball both in level 1. Ahsoka gonna get a little bit of extra juice here from Stan King. Moo is gonna have a shield for himself, but no, he's too late. Will get dropped thanks to the small stun from that Snowball. Z-Freak also a little bit too late. Maybe a Soul Rip could have gotten him out of there, actually. Maybe not gotten him out of there completely, but maybe giving him a little bit more time to trade some damage. Still, these lanes are kind of as expected, being utterly won here by Complexity. This Bat Rider is having an absolutely miserable time. Is going into a matchup, though, just up against Vengeful Spirit, where if Vengeful Spirit gets a little bit kind of too hasty in her aggression, can fall. Get 4 or 5 stacks of Napalm, and Vengeful Spirit, her turn rate is just going to be completely nullified there by Bat Rider. You can just Firefly her down. That is, of course, if he doesn't die again here. Cass will, in fact, bounce from the creep wave back to him with the Maledict on all the right clicks. He's dead to the dots. Nope, he's dead to the right clicks, and coL grabs this 4th kill of the game. It's 5 minutes in, we have a level 4 Witch Doctor. That is so disgustingly above average, it is not even funny. Unless you're a Complexity fan, in which case it is funny. Dude's got some serious cash off of this as well, so yeah, coL's gonna be really happy. Though this is kind of a downside. Witch Doctors always die, so that 4-kill spree is going to be taken at some point in the near future. That's going to be a pretty easy grab there for VGJ.Storm. Someone there, at least. Z-Freak willing to fight over this bounty rune. Let the fist fight begin. Unfortunately, Decay is kind of cheating, so Flea's hitting like a kitten. In the meantime, Z-Freak, well, he's actually going to still grab the rune in Snowball, but his shards are off the mark. And Z-Freak, kind of awkwardly on the low ground, can still help out Moo versus Ahsoka. He's going to buff out that open wounds. Even the clap, I think, lands on the Lifestealer, but now Stan King in the front line's got to be very, very careful here. And they're still getting kills on the Bat Rider. God, can we just assume that Bat Rider is always going to be dying so I just don't have to watch him anymore? Because this is definitely a lot more interesting. Roya jumping in for Z-Freak. He's going to drop the Tombstone. Has a sword for himself as well, but there's so many Phantom Lancers here. Moo as well in a lot of trouble. Not quite level 6 just yet. coL's going to arrive, but he doesn't really have anything to save his friendly Abaddon. So Roya makes a fantastic rotation with a double damage rune. Again, the most subtle effect ever. They really need to add more visuals to double damage. Z-Freak will shrine up. Has so much HP, is going to completely whiff the Decay. Great Delta split there by VGJ, but they both get hit with the Maledict. Now Limp will buzz down Flea. That should be lethal damage, I think. No, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. We'll get out of there just barely. But Roya makes a great rotation. Ultimately going to well, punish this Abaddon just a little bit. Z-Freak as well, unable to land those Decays. Still is not going to die to that secondary fight. But in this bottom lane, it's a gigantic disaster zone here for VGJ.Storm. Sneaking has died 4 times thus far. All of them going towards coL. Unfortunately for the Venge, he would love to get those kills, but hey man, coL needs his dues. Vengeful Spirit hits mighty hard, especially with this build. 1 point of Magic Missile, not for the nuke, just for the stun. Get the aura, get the wave, and now with the swap, make those kills even easier. Maybe I should just always have Bat Rider selected, so when I see his health drop over here, we'll know about it. That seems like a good plan. Looks like mid lane was pretty much a wash. Actually, no, never mind. The Phantom Lancer getting the 1-0-1 compared to the 0-1-0. The Gyrocopter is going to put him quite ahead in the net worth. Lifestealer doing quite okay for himself as well. Thought this lane would be just slightly better for Moo than it has been. Still hasn't been bad, but he's going to get jumped up one more time. Really just waiting for the shield to counter the open wounds. But with that movement speed, thanks to phase boots and tether, Moo's going to take an absolute beating to his regular health pool. And Yawar is just playing super offensively. God damn, why can't I catch kills on this bottom lane? Is there some sort of mental block there for me? I think there must be. I'm always watching these fights elsewhere. I'm just not paying attention to bottom. You guys have my sincerest apologies. This is some like B-, C- tier camera work at best. VGJ.Storm get their dues. Kill off the Vengeful Spirit. Hero that's one of the heroes at least that's worth the most here for them to take down. I think coL's worth quite a bit as well. He has a 5-kill spree. Level 5 on the Witch Doctor as well. But hey, any kill you can get, you're going to take. Again, this Batrider's lane experience was kind of rough. But overall, coming out of the lane's complexity with no huge advantage for them. Going to be a little bit of a wash in the fact that they picked up all these laners. Not able to gain a discernible advantage here as VGJ.Storm is making some really great rotations. Now looking at Chessie. Only one stack of Napalm. Maledict does go onto him with the Flaming Lasso now up though. Chessie's going to get swarmed with Blue Smurf. Swaps in Z-Freak to get himself out. Now here comes Limp. With the call down will be most part dodged by the Snowball. In fact, it will completely be dodged by the Snowball. I don't think Flea's going to get out of here as actually Complexity have brought in everybody. But they've saved Chessie. Not entirely sure if that's worth it unless they can get a tower push going here. 3 points in the aura will give quite a bit of damage to all these heroes. And the tower's already kind of banged up, so yeah, maybe they can take this down, which will make the 5-man rotation very much so worth it. But of course, top lane, Lifestealer is still just pushing that one by himself, no big deal. Blade is only level 1. Baden still has yet to pick up that borrowed time, has an extra point that he's just holding. Complexity have a very deadly 5-man. VGJ.Storm have very deadly late gamers, so just avoiding these fights, these 5-on-5 fights that is, going instead for split push and kind of farm value, definitely the way that they win this game. Until at a certain point you just take the team fight. Vlad's next up for Moo here. Batrider is going to go for the drum still. We have Chessie. Got a lot of help before. Kind of on an island right now is... let's look in the mid lane. That's where the real party is going to soon be. Limp is clearing out this stack. Phase boot damage quite high. He's not clearing out the stack actually. Trying to stack it up even more. This is a lot of cash. I don't think VGJ.Storm can actually jack. They just don't have the right heroes for it. This is going to be a lot of gold for Limp. Started at 300. Let's see what he ends up as. Assuming Z-Freak doesn't take any, which he just took one. He's only hitting it with zombies. Did he just take another? Did Limp get any of this so far? Z-Freak's taking this entire stack, man. Okay, Limp's finally getting some cash. Let's just say they get a lot of cash for complexity. That's probably a lot easier. So far, though, this Phantom Lancer has had zero pressure applied to him with the quite honestly easy matchup versus that Gyrocopter. The Lifestealer as well. Getting a pretty clean lane experience up towards top. Z-Freak, you don't want to die to those Ancients. That'll be embarrassing. But Limp is going to cash in. And it does seem like, though, Complexity don't have a terrible late game. Definitely are lacking in great answers to the Phantom Lancer. You would assume that Gyrocopter would be a really good one, but he's only kind of average. Lee. You get maledicted for about no damage. coL, though, still in vision, is going to get hit with the shards. He is in a very vulnerable spot now. Zoroark's going to come in from the south. He's going to try to tag the shrine with the stick charges. Maybe he'll survive. Call down now coming in. It's going to be mostly dodged by the Doppelgang. In fact, Phantom Lancer has a haste rune. He's free and clear. Death Ward's still just buzzing those illusions, doing very little. They saved coL's spree, but at what cost? Because Moo, he has an Aphotic Shield, which will take out those Napalm stacks. Still has yet to pick up his ultimate. And all these rotations from VGJ.Storm, I don't think a single one has really costed them a lot. Like that one, it didn't really cost them all that much. They don't lose anyone. It will fall back successfully, so it works out pretty well at the end of the day.
Radiant's middle tower
No
is
substantial
under attack.
turnaround. Here comes the Io. With, of course, that Phantom Lancer. Kyle's going to run the other way. He knows he's screwed. And he will give over his killing spree to someone. But in the meantime, here comes the Lifestealer onto Z-Freak. Lots of health to grind through on this Undying. But hey, he has all the time in the world. We'll get 2 kills for the team. And Limp will actually find Stan King on the return. Poor Io doesn't have much to do about that. But that is going to be the end of the spree from Kyle. Ended by Roya, which is even more gold for this PL. That's his Diffusal Blade, all locked up, flying on the courier soon.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Complexity do not have an advantage coming out of the lanes. That is a problem with this draft. We saw in the fight over here how kind of mediocre the Gyrocopter is versus Phantom Lancer. You do hit all of his illusions, but you don't really have enough to kill them off faster than he's making them. You don't have cleave or anything like that from a Magnus to help, or an empower from a Magnus to help out or anything like that. Your damage is still just kind of lacking. Kyle with both wrapped around upon, sneaking from nowhere. Grabs the Gyrocopter, brings him right back in, but the cast is still bouncing. Gyrocopter gets his call down out, but it's not going to help him. He sticks up. He's going to try to fight this Lifestealer. Not going to happen. Kyle is well in a little bit of trouble, as Ahsoka is going to heal himself through that Maledict. He should be A-okay. No, he messes up, and he's going to go down. Well played indeed, Kyle. That was totally intentional, I'm sure. They get a freebie on the Lifestealer, who messes up his armlet toggling. And it will be a 2-for-1. VGJ do lose a top tier 1 as well, as the Vengeful Spirit maxed out on the aura is still going to go to town push-wise. But VGJ.Storm have a lot of counterplay here. We'll have a lot more in a minute. Sneaking is going to take up to the skies. Z-Freak is going to try to just walk out of there. Maybe try to help Chessie instead, Z-Freak. Are they giving it a try? No, Chessie is just screwed. He's just getting fire flown down. Okay, well, maybe not going to help him. That is an unfortunate spot to be in as a Vengeful Spirit with no Shadow Blade yet up. Not even sure if a Shadow Blade would have helped him. I'm for sure the Bat Rider, once he sees the Shadow Blade completed, is going to be the one holding the dust. Or someone's going to be holding dust.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tower going to be chunked down in mid. Again, Diffusal Blade is still a very valuable damage tool. Limp. Oh no, not again. Pretty much solo killed by the Lifestealer. Relocate's going to bring them back in, but since the tower is down, there's nothing that Complexity can do to punish this. And this game is looking really good for VGJ.Storm, especially with Moo on the front lines like this, who does not have mana for an Aphotic Shield, gets Walrus Punch and obliterated. They grab Z-Freak as well. No swap in time, it's not in range. That's 3 heroes down for VGJ.Storm, and they are just rolling with this game. They have dodged the worst part of this game, which is the laning. Quite frankly, minimal losses there from the VGJ side. And now Complexity are in a game state where they have to deal with a mega farmed PL with heroes that aren't really great against that PL. Abaddon and Undying and Witch Doctor are all very, very poor. If you're a Vengeful Spirit, you can do decently if it's just the regular Lancer, if you somehow isolate him, but that's just so hard to do without a call down, landing and clearing out all of his illusions at the same time. Again, very, very hard. So VGJ.Storm only with a 2k, 3k lead now, but the effective lead with their heroes is probably going to make the advantage feel like a little bit more like 5, 6k. This is going to balance things out a little bit. First of Avernus, plus that minus armor, plus just the raw damage given to a whole bunch of heroes with Vengeance Aura will make this Roche pretty quick. Aegis for Limp. VGJ.Storm. They just have to make sure to keep farming, keep looking for those opportunities to pick off Complexity. Complexity may just have to 5-man. Does seem like it's a little bit early for that. They really would want to get at least some items up on this Abaddon, at least this Mana Style completed on Gyrocopter beforehand, at least the Shadow Blade from Vengeful Spirit, but again, beggars can't be choosers. You gotta go for anything you can get at this point. Kyle will again take the kill on the tower. Dude, Kyle's been so good at snagging these kills every single time. He'll go for more. All the spirits, though, will do quite a bit of damage. Kyle has picked up 1 point in Beauty Restoration. Do have Moo with some extra sustain, but not really that much. It's definitely an offensive and bad build. Fortification refreshed thanks to the tier 1 dropping. Where is this Bat Rider? He has a Blink Dagger, but a Blink into a Lasso is not that good up against the Vengeful Spirit and the Baton. There are very few targets you can go for. And Complexity with the 5-man will clean out the mid lane of towers. And though that is great for them, you can see the gold advantage is still very much so in favor of VGJ.Storm, as they will also clean out some towers of their own on bottom lane. Again, full-on heads-up fight. Not really something that VGJ.Storm are going to be super eager to do. At least not yet. They have all the time in the world to do that. Just split up the map, avoid the engagements, farm elsewhere. And yeah, you're going to lose some map control, but you're going to be getting still gold on more impactful heroes at the end of the day. I mean, it's a good play for Complexity to make, for sure. But it's just not going to reward them as much as they really needed to. And now they're stacked. This one's kind of small. We're always going to clean this one up pretty quickly. Heart is right around the corner, actually. 2 fits. Moo is going to be spotted. Walrus Punch is there. He has borrowed time, and his illusions are not being microed, so Moo gets quite a bit of health from those. Still, I mean, borrowed time popped off for pretty much no cost. I was going to try to just kill Sneaky with this Maledict. It's a level 4 Maledict, but it's only level 1 Death Ward. People are maybe fighting in the meantime. This is more interesting to see if Sneaky's actually going to die. He's not. Kyle will be relocated upon, and so far away from his allies will be dropped. Io, is he going to just return by himself? Yes, he will. Ripperino, Io. Okay, no magic missile used, no magic missile needed, apparently. 1 for 1. Pretty nice exchange there, I suppose, for the Complexity side. But even with this Aegis, even with now all these items up on their heroes, I don't know if they can challenge this PL, especially once he gets his heart. And once that happens, it's just all over. You can't kill the PL anymore. They just don't have the damage output. Not to mention the fact that Ahsoka is still working with quite a bit of cash himself. Hand Midas after the armlet. A little bit of a conservative farming build here, but he knows that the Phantom Lancer is the real carry. He doesn't have to be going for massive amounts of damage. Go for these cost-effective kind of value items.
Got it.
S and Y right around the corner for him. Chessie is going to have a haste rune and invis. That was a blink out from sneaking without necessarily knowing the Vengeful Spirit's on his tail. Is going to actually just loop right around, and now we have an engagement, but Lasso is going to be used first here by the Bat Rider. Has a blink out, which won't happen. Magic Missile comes in, and Chessie has a haste rune, swaps back, sneaking into nothing. He didn't hit him, so he had the blink out. That was awkward. That really didn't do much. Okay, well, you know, sometimes that's just how the fight breaks down. And they know that Chessie has the Shadow Blade now, so vision check here for the VG Gaming side. Dust on the Tusk, yeah, that's up. Only on the Tusk though, so you know, maybe there's a chance that Chessie gets away with that item once or twice. These illusions though. I thought they nerfed illusions. I was told that illusions were nerfed. That's what I read in the patch notes. I was deceived. Z-Freak, I was just about to say, like, staying up here, spotted at all by yourself is such a risky move. You know that there's going to be relocations. Gyrocopter's going to come in, but they've already lost the Undying and the Tombstone. Even getting this Io here, which they're not even going to do because of that sick relocation range. Or tether range, rather. And that was an Undying kill, which is probably worth less. It was worth just about as much as the Tombstone, but that was 500 gold that they gained from that one kill. Because of the fact that he dropped the Tombstone down, kind of as a panic maneuver. Complexity are still trying to split the map up and farm, despite the fact that they're going up against an Io who has been relocating on them every single time they try to do that. It seems like the only thing that Complexity can really do effectively right now is 5-man. But even that door is going to be closing as this PL picks up his heart, which is just 400 gold away. Actually, yeah, it's a little bit less than that. Math, rounding errors. You guys know how it is. NA math, lol. They're going to try to look for sneaking. Magic Missile stuns way too far away. Not even in range because it's nighttime, so they can't even see him afterwards for a homing missile. The range of homing missile is quite high, but vision range is always going to be a limiting factor you have to consider. Sneaking going to go in for round 2, though. Is going to blink away, he thinks. Into coL. Cask is not used. Tombstone is used, which is going to do a whole lot of nothing. Moon's going to look to cut off Sneaking. He's just wasting all of their time right now. Is force staffing out. He's going to blink out. Is he even going to die? No, he's fine. Dude, you can't kill the Bat Rider ever. Like, he's literally invulnerable. So while Complexity are on that wild goose chase, Ryoya's farming. And the rest of Storm are just getting massively far ahead. I'm not entirely sure about this Gyrocopter mid lane adaptation. For sure it is going to be somewhat countered by the fact that PL was his lane matchup. But, I mean, this... I'm sure many people will just look at this and say, oh yeah, Complexity got outdrafted. I don't really think that's the case. I think they had a plan, a very specific plan, they just couldn't perform it properly. They definitely had a shot to end the game by now if they had a better shot in their lanes, but it just didn't pan out that way. Oh yeah, on the front line, Sneaking is here as well. Where's the swap? There it is, and the Aphotic Shield, in fact. The initiate from Snaking, not that great, but it's still doing a lot of damage here to Chessie. Call down is going to be deployed. Limp on the outset, doing quite a bit of damage to everybody, but is it going to be enough? Tombstone is down. They have taken down the Io and the Tusk and the Bat Rider now, as Ryoya is the last one standing in the middle of the fight. No more flat cannon hits there from Limp. They're going to try to retreat. Double buyback forced out from Storm. Ryoya, though, still very healthy. His heart regeneration is going to help him catch up and just push on forward with the relocation coming in as well. Limp has another set of flat cannon shots. Woman style out of the open wounds and start doing damage to everyone. But Ahsoka is going to ignore him, try to go for coL instead. Ryoya's actually taking quite a bit of damage here from the Maledict and will be dropping as well. He has no buyback. Complexity making some plays. The Alpha Wolf is going to pop right back out into a mess of heroes and he's going to die. What the hell just happened? I'll tell you what happened. That initiation from VGJ.Storm was great and everything, but Limp was in the safest position possible with his side against the wall, so there's only one angle you can actually get to him. Flat cannoning everyone. Of course, the Tombstone was there the entirety of that engagement. Z-Freak, usually a hero that gets focused down pretty quickly, but in Flesh Golem the entire time, amplifying that damage. Of course, his zombies stacking up as well. VGJ.Storm lose an absolute mess of heroes. And Complexity, their 5-mana, as I said before, is super strong. And it looks like they may have an opportunity here to kill off a tier 3. Snake Gang does have another blink initiation whenever he gets cleaned up from these zombies, but they're going to chase him out with the missile as well. Moo's taking quite a bit of damage here, but he has borrowed time, so he's going to be okay. Onto the Rax they go. Do they have enough damage for this one? This is so important for Complexity, and will do it. Rax out of nowhere. I'm just looking at this, I'm just thinking, like, we have 2-minute delay right now. The chat has no idea that this is gonna happen in 2 minutes. I had no idea. I was just talking about how Complexity, they had like a much better shot if their lanes went well. Apparently I'm just like completely freaking wrong, because Complexity, they still have the powerful enough 5-man. I didn't think they had it in them. They were able to kill off the Heart Phantom Lancer. That just seemed like an impossibility, but my god, they made it happen. Limp, again, had great positioning. It was a full duration Flesh Golem there from the Undying. That additional damage amplification cannot be underestimated. The Bat Rider, he did his job at least as best as he could, but it just was not good enough against all these Complexity responses. So melee Rax for top is going to get Complexity right back into parity. Now, normally it would put them in the driver's seat. Normally it would give them this overwhelming advantage, but because of the fact that PL and Lifesteal are still just this farmed, they're not quite at that advantageous level just yet. They will need another set of Rax to really be in the commanding position. Or kill off Ryoya. That's good too. Yeah, they're not really heading towards it. But once second set falls, or hell, even just the shrine to the tier 2s, like, then Complexity will be in a very, very good spot. VGJ.Storm, because they have a Phantom Lancer with Travels, a Lifestealer, and an Io, like, they can handle one lane of super creeps. That's not a big deal. It really gets to the point where they have to deal with 2-3 lanes, 2.5, let's say, if the ranged Rax stays alive. That's when things get really bad for VGJ.Storm. Got Pipe being built up on Abaddon. Was working with an Alpha Wolf, so even more damage auras for the team. Of course, it's mostly for this Gyrocopter. All about that flat cannon salvo. That talent is going to be make or break. Obviously, you get this every single time. I don't think I've seen a gyrocopter a single time get... What's on the other side? 11 rocket barrage damage. That's actually so much extra DPS, but it just doesn't matter. Flat cannon is just what you take. Roshan is going to be scouted out by both sides. Complexity taking a pretty big risk here, fighting in the Roche pit, but top lane is still pushing, so they have time on their side. Chessie, oh, he's going to get wrapped around upon this smoke play. Might just take out the Vengeful Spirit immediately. No buff out of this last one. They will focus down this Vengeful Spirit first thing. She does get down to the low ground, and Zfreak, he's once again with the Tombstone in the front lines, doing so much work with that Flesh Golem. Sneaking's going to drop, as will the Tusk, and now the Death Ward onto Stan King, trying to be looking at, not going to happen. Chessie is somehow still alive. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Roya is going to be on the run, but oh my god, I can't believe that the Vengeful Spirit actually survives that engagement just thanks to a Force Staff. Top lane is in full breach, so Ahsoka's got to go ahead and deal with that. Phantom Lancer's going to send in some goons to try to contest this Roche, but it's not going to happen. It's a second Roche, that's Aegis Cheese. Here for Limp and Chessie respectively. And Complexity are going freaking Super Saiyan a million, if that's even a thing, in this game. Soul Vessel up on the Undying, so the heals are going to be doing some serious work for them, but they're just going to plow right in with the 5-man. There are no buybacks on the dead heroes right now, and because of the fact that Vengeful Spirit is so high level thanks to being in the core position, this tower is going to fall. You got to worry about this Curse of Avernus as well. That attack speed is so incredible when 5 heroes are beating into it. Phantom Lancer going to send, once again, his Goon Squad. Limp going to flip the switch, turn on the Flat Cannon, force some heroes away, but you know what? They got what they came for. 2 racks is going to be claimed here for Complexity. How good is the retreat? Looks like it is flawless so far. Ryoya, Flea, both chasing, but as a full 5-man up the high ground. Oh, they caught 4 on the low ground, I guess. That's something, but Zfreak can still drop the Tombstone. Limp has no Flat Cannon, running dry on mana. Gotta be careful there. Cask will do a little bit, but not that much. Limp is in an awkward spot. In fact, everyone from Complexity in a very awkward spot. They gotta retreat as a full 5-man squad, and looks like they have been able to do so successfully. Now onto the Shrine, the second Shrine. And now they are in the driver's seat for real. Sometimes all it takes is one good push. And it looks like they are not going to waste any time looking for the third good push. Shadowblade on Vengeful Spirit pushing forward. They have Flea in a kind of precarious position right now. Chessie, maybe... you know what? There's Limp all the way up here. Chessie's kind of alone. Flea has True Sight. Not going to make that call. What the hell are you doing up there, Limp? You can't fly. You're in a gyrocopter, but you cannot fly. Someone get him down from there. Swap him down. He's fine. Here we go. Butterfly on the gyrocopter, even more damage. Not worth it for VGJ.Storm to contest this tower unless they wrap around and come from this angle. And even then, don't you really know if it's worth it. Limp can just put his back against the trees and just start right-clicking in. Roya's going to come with a Shadow Blade. We'll find Kyle, but Kyle has a lot of backup here, so Roya is going to jump the gun a little bit. Has to retreat. Will doppelgang a couple of units here. He's going to jump in, looking for Kyle, but the swap is immediately going to be there. Now Limp on the front lines is dodging so many shots versus Slicer with the Flat Cannon turns on, ends up killing off Sneaking. Flea's going to Wars Punch Kyle, but he's still at full HP. And Roya, he's in a lot of trouble. GG is in fact called. The Soul Vessel, negative effect, whatever it's called, preventing Stan King from healing, and it'll be a full 5-man wipe. Complexity. Holy crap. I don't think I've seen a game quite like this. Not in a very long time. Complexity's 5-man. It was supposed to be, the game plan was supposed to be, we get a little bit of a lead coming out of these lanes, and then we just 5-man towers, getting more and more of a lead. You know, just keep on going, keep on going. Dropping this deficit right here, that was never part of the plan. But my god, the 5-man, that one fight on top lane where they were able to nullify the Batrider initiation thanks to the swap and the Aphotic Shield, where they were able to get Limp into a safe position just to unleash his entire Flat Cannon, where Zfreak was able to survive the entire time as Flesh Golem. That's sometimes all you need. Complexity will 2-0 VGJ.Storm. And again, it seems like every single game I casted was 2-0. Maybe it's a blessing, maybe it's a curse, I'm not entirely sure. But now we have our grand finals for the NA qualifiers for Galaxy Battle. Optic Gaming will face up against Complexity, currently scheduled for tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. That might change, I don't know, teams do things. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching these games. I am still kind of baffled by the fact that Complexity were able to pull back that advantage. I mean, that's one thing. The fact that they pulled it back is one thing. The fact that they did it like so quickly is quite another. So, whew, that's some game. If you guys enjoy the casting, be sure to tune in tomorrow. We will have the grand final to see who actually is going to qualify for the NA region. If you guys enjoyed the casting, you can follow me along at Mike Loris, for Twitter, Mike Loris Gaming, for Facebook, if that's your cup of tea instead. But honestly, who uses Facebook anymore? Come on. I'm done for the day, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. GG.